This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Mohammad Javad Zarif has largely gone underground since retiring from politics last year and ending his 8-year run as Iranian foreign minister. Ben Wolfgang reports Zarif has pulled back from public discourse even while Iran's high-stakes negotiations with the Biden administration over reviving the 2015 nuclear deal hang by a thread. He rose to prominence as the smooth English-fluent mouthpiece of Iran's theocratic regime. Zarif went toe-to-toe on Twitter with President Trump and built deep connections with U.S. Democrats looking for a softer policy toward Iran. Foreign policy analysts say no other Iranian figure comes close to matching Zarif's public relations skills or his personal relationships with influential Americans. The uproar over busing migrants is vexing officials in small communities along the southern U.S. border with Mexico. Stephen Dinan reports they say they've been asking for federal help for months with migrants and all the attendant costs that come with them, without any sense that the powers in Washington are listening. Chicago and Washington, D.C. have declared emergencies over the arriving migrants, with the National Guard helping the effort in Illinois. Officials along the border are asking why their disaster declarations didn't move the needle the way those in the District of Columbia and Illinois did. House Democrats have expanded the party's crusade to label MAGA Republicans as a threat to democracy to include anti-abortion conservatives. Mika Solner reports House Democratic Caucus Chairman Hakeem Jeffries said South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham belongs in that group because of his bill that would ban abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Jeffries also named Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott as an extremist, citing Scott's proposals to sunset all federal programs, which critics say would jeopardize the existence of Social Security and Medicare. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of news, commentary, and sports podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly sits in the seat once held by John McCain, but he's tougher to pin down on positions than his predecessor. Seth McLaughlin reports the strategy has worked so far in his re-election bid. Kelly holds a lead in the polls over Republican nominee Blake Masters. The Democrat has run ads playing up his time as an astronaut and in the Navy, where he, like McCain before him, was a pilot. Kelly says he's an independent voice, though he's mostly been a reliable backer of President Biden's agenda, even while backing away from partisan dogfights and policy specifics. On issues such as abortion and questions over presidential nominees to the Federal Communications Commission, critics say Kelly has been tough to pin down on where he stands. And finally, a growing number of state legislatures are mandating primary sources in American history classes. Sean Salai reports 10 states have enacted laws requiring primary sources, according to the Ashbrook Center, an independent program at Ohio's Ashland University. Among them, Kentucky's new law requires public schools to use copies of the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and other founding documents. In Arizona, House Bill 2008 prescribes lessons on the original intent of the U.S. founding documents, and in Colorado, its law instructs teachers to cover the nation's founding documents and basic civics knowledge. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.